Ladies and gentlemen, now to a story, in fact, a follow-up to a story we did last week. Last week, when AstraZeneca admitted in a British court that its vaccine, known as Covishield in India, can in rare occasions cause TTS or blood clotting, many had anticipated that this will open a floodgate of litigations across the world. That is exactly what is happening. Today, the question over the vaccine has reached India's Supreme Court. The petitioner in the plea has demanded that an apex panel, an expert panel, must probe the vaccine's side effects, its potential risk, and that the government must provide compensation to those families who've lost their loved ones to the vaccine. The Chief Justice of India has rejected the demand for an early hearing, but has agreed to hear the matter soon. Also initiating legal action against the Serum Institute of India are the parents of a young girl who claim that Covishield killed their daughter. Venugopalan Govindan lost his 20-year-old daughter, Karunaya, in 2021. He is joining me on the show. Before I go to him, I want to tell you something. We have sought a response from the Serum Institute of India, the ICMR, and the Health Ministry of India on the charges that Mr. Govindan is making publicly. No response has been forthcoming so far. As and when the three decide to respond, we will put out their responses to the allegations that are about to be made. Mr. Venugopal Govindan, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. Can I start by asking you why you claim that Covishield killed your daughter? Because when a government panel investigated her death, they said that wasn't exactly the case.
See, the point is, actually what the government report said is my daughter's death is classified as B1. B1 being actually temporal association exists, but inconclusive evidence of connection to vaccine, within bracket, could be a new vaccine-linked event. This is the full definition of the classification B1. What does it say? It actually says, because we didn't do autopsy for our daughter. So that actually, because of which crucial evidence wasn't there, that part. But everything else is there, and as per United Nations, there is something called Brighton collaboration, which you may be aware of, which is basically for vaccines, they do that. And in that, there is something called AESI, Adverse Event of Special Interest. And in that top of the list is MIS, which is Multi-System Inflammatory Syndrome, which is what my daughter had. So basically, it kind of conclusive, actually. It's conclusive, and government being what it is, authorities being what it is, they would prefer to see the glass as half empty and not as half full. So they are saying half empty. They're not saying it's empty. They're saying half empty. And the media houses say it half empty. They don't say it's half full. But the reality is it's half full, and we don't have that last evidence, which because the autopsy cannot be done to somebody who has been cremated now. So we don't have that piece of evidence. But worldwide, it has been proven, like MIS happens after vaccines. And I've seen her falling sick, and I've seen her being in hospital. I know it is from vaccine. And the doctors have said, many doctors have said, and it is, let's say it's half full, and it's whose responsibility is to conclusively say yes or no. It's again government's responsibility. Why are they not saying? Ask them. Why are they not saying it's not linked to vaccine or linked to vaccine?
Mr. Govindan, in the UK, 51 people have gone to court against AstraZeneca, and for the first time, the pharma giant has actually admitted in court that their vaccine could have rare side effects like blood clotting. Are you going to be approaching courts in India as well?
We have initiated internal discussions among the parents, and a couple of victims are married and their husbands. We have started discussions, and all are in favor of kind of initiating legal action, and the necessary steps for that have already been started. And whether it was influenced by the UK court decision, yeah, the answer is again like my half full or half empty. It is like that. It's like yes and no, because we always wanted to take them to court. But unfortunately for India, now people wake up only when something happens abroad. So that's what has happened now. And so now is the right time to perhaps pursue that further. So we are going to do that. People of this country need justice and protection because, see, please understand one thing, Ms. Shreya, basically we are not doing it for anything other than two very important things. One is the deaths which were perpetrated in the most cruel way because healthy people were injected with something they didn't need and that could harm them without being told that this could harm them, and it took away their lives. That's cruel injustice and that must be questioned. That is number one. Number two, the country still has the old systems. It still can do the same thing all over again and kill a lot more people. We want to prevent that from happening. We want to put systemic safeguards so this will not happen again. So for these two purposes, primarily we are doing this.
But has the AstraZeneca admission in court meant anything for you and your cause?
Actually, the reaction for that in Indian press did show, I was pleasantly surprised that in India, at least people have started waking up after I saw the reactions there. So, the various press interest and people, the various, even the vernacular press and the national press, all of them carrying it. So that was a pleasant thing. But the news in itself that AstraZeneca, aka Covishield, can cause and does kill people through blood clots is an old news. It is not even new. In European countries, it happened. In Denmark, it happened first, and then Nordic countries, and then 15 European countries banned it in March, April 2021. Sadly, in India, it was not even published in a big way. People didn't know. And after banning it for many weeks, they age limited and reintroduced it. Actually, age limited in the sense they said people below 45 should not take it. Some countries said people below 60 should not take it. Why? Because the younger age group had more propensity for this blood clots and death. But in India, after this happened in March, April 2021, on May 1st, the government opened it up for 18-year-olds. And in April, it opened it up for 45-year-olds. It is a criminal act of the people who advise the government, the bodies that are supposed to guide the government. They failed miserably in their job, whether it is a criminality or negligence, I don't know. I am not competent to say that, but it is a terrible act by these bodies. And the government just toed the line, or whether the government dictated it, I don't know, just to meet some crores and crores of targets, I don't know. But in any case, people were thrown under the bus. So that's what happened, actually. So then the scope of the vaccination widened, and many people, including my daughter, died. And are you aware there are 19 deaths which are admitted by government as vaccine cost in AIIMS system,
18.
which has only 2,900 records, and in that 970 are deaths, 100 are deaths. So that's the kind of serious numbers we are talking about, which exposes the huge number of deaths and also the very poor capture of data by AIFI system, on which people are relying and simply blabbering that there are very few, 1 in a million, 1 in 2 million kind of numbers. That's all coming from this very little number of AIFI data.
So given what we have seen in the UK, given your own experience, are you of the view that it is time for the Indian government to do a safety review of Covishield, a little belated, but maybe it will help for the future?
See, Indian government doing a safety review is a mockery, because Indian government entrusts this job to ICMR, which itself is a vaccine manufacturer, like as it did in the case of checking whether heart attacks are linked to vaccine. Indian government just needs to look at data. People need to just look at data. Please go through the court documents. In my Twitter handle, G Venugopalan, just go search for court documents and look at the rejoinder data. And just for your benefit, I will just read out certain numbers right now, if you have 5 minutes. Like, for example, the AIFI system, in the first month of launching, that is Jan 16th, it launched. In the 15 days, that is from 16th to 31st, there were 40 deaths recorded. Just remember the number, please. 40 deaths recorded in the AIFI system in the first 15 days. Then in the second month, February, with 28 days, 38 deaths were recorded. And in March, when they expanded it to 60 plus aged, 253 deaths were recorded in 1 month. And then in April, when they expanded it to plus 45, now they are jabbing 60 plus, plus 45 plus, and you have only 189 deaths. Okay. Next month, May, they are expanding it to also 18 plus. You have 29 deaths only throughout the country. Why? Did they change the vaccine? Was the formula changed? What changed? The recording of deaths stopped. They stopped recording. The AFI system is a joke. So that's what is giving the numbers, that these are the kind of, they are saying 1 in a million, 1 in a 2 million. It is not rare. I'm telling you, if government simply opens a portal tomorrow and says those who took vaccination and somebody died within 2 weeks, come and record in this website, you will see thousands and thousands of people recording. Government needs to just record the data, listen to the people. They let them not rely on any more experts. Experts have screwed up enough. They are the ones who have messed up the whole situation. Now they need to just look at what has happened in reality on the ground to the people, and if they are at all serious. But unfortunately, government is not serious. They are with, I don't know who is in whose pocket. He's in vaccine manufacturer's pocket, or vaccine manufacturer is in pocket. I don't know. But they are all hand in glove in the whole thing. So safety review, why would I ask for a safety review? That will be a mockery on people again. I don't want any safety review. Let them just look at the data.
My final question to you, you've lost your daughter, a 20-year-old. What are you hoping for as you mull legal action against SII?
Vaccine death that happened after my daughter's, because we could not stop it. We could not give the message out that this is causing problems. Just because of censorship, just because the information didn't reach people, on the first anniversary of my daughter's death, one 12-year-old child, Devi Anil Kumar, died. We met that girl's parents recently and her younger sister. You can, if you have, can I share my screen and show a photograph? There is a story behind each of them, actually. There are so many families, and each of them have lost their lives and children. And all of this happened in the months of June, July, August, September, all these months, when the government should have stopped the vaccination right in the month of March, April, when the 15th government stopped it. And to cap it all, they pushed, and then they came with booster, and they came with vaccine for children, that is 15-year-old. And then this girl, 12-year-old child, she took the vaccine on exactly on the first anniversary of my daughter's death, she died. Where will I go and keep all this sorrow? Where? How will I? And this can happen all over again.
Mr. Govindan, you're taking the matter to court. Thank you very much. Again, as I've said, we have requested the SII, that's the Serum Institute of India, ICMR, and the Health Ministry of India for a response to the charges that Mr. Govindan is making. So far, we've not heard back from them. Fact also is that all along, experts have said that this is not a perfect vaccine. No vaccine is perfect. And the benefits far outweigh the risks. But as I said, we'd love to hear officially from the SII or even from the government of India.